Preparation. Assembly tools. Electric drills, cutter bar, angle grinder, turn drill, rivet gun, glue gun, hammer, vise, iron sheet shears, wrench, size 12, 14, 17, 19, cross screwdriver, straight screwdriver, cutter knife, 1 box of blade. Lofting tools. Line job, carpenter's ink marker, leveling instrument, steel tap, cotton rope. Cooperation tools. 2 herringbone ladders, 1 distribution box, cable, main cable 15 meters, vice cable 20 meters, installed plug and broad plug, floodlight, labor protection appliance, safety helmet, anti-skid shoes, safety cloth, gloves, safety glasses, safety belts, 40 meters lifeline. Increase the protective measures according to sites. Make ready all materials including accessories for building according to the material list. Foundation check. Before installing the modular houses, a rectangular concrete foundation needs to be produced in advance to correspond with the modular house's specification. The section should be 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters. Intensity level is about C20. Make sure foundation is smooth and flat, and there couldn't be large areas of waters, which is phenomenon affect the foundation near foundation ground. Tolerance of foundation surfacing level is less than minus or plus 5 millimeters. In the summer, it's required to pour in 24 hours after forming the basis of the construction, and 48 hours in the winter. Houses construction is not allowed to build on a brick basis. Erection sequences. Line laying. According to the foundation plan and the mark lines on foundation, measuring the center line, and then using the carpenter's ink marker pop-up rectangular installation datum line on the 30 centimeters by 30 centimeters rectangular concrete foundation. Assembling ground beam. Based on the center line of foundation to fix the ground beam. At the corner between ground beam and ground beam should be 90 degrees. According to the relative level around the foundation to confirm the ground beam is flat by leveling instrument and the ground beam levelness is less than 10 millimeters. Using M10 by 100 expansion bolts to connect with ground beam and foundation. Making sure the expansion tube is blow up. Installing bolts to be vertical with the foundation. Assembly columns. Lifting the column to the installation position. The column gets stuck on the ground beam. Corner column with the 3 M12 by 30 bolts to connect with ground beam. Middle column and gable column connect to the ground beams with 2 M12 by 30 bolts. Buckled hand and reinforcement. Installing the column. Every 2 columns need to hang on the lower reinforcements. Assembling ring beam. Installing the column and the ring beam at the same time. Using the M12 by 25 bolts to fix on the front and rear corner columns and gable columns. Using the reinforcement to make sure that the column is vertical, and then fix the bolts of ring beams and reinforcements. Pillar verticality deviation is not allowed more than 10 millimeters. The column of center line and axis deviation is less than 10 millimeters. Column lateral bending allowable deviation is less than 15 millimeters. Assembling door frames. Fixing the door frames with 6 self-tapping screws on the columns in turn, and connecting the door support on the columns with 2 self-tapping screws through the angle steel. Assembling roof truss. The edge of roof truss installed on the corner and gable middle columns. Install the bolts in the hole. The roof truss install on the plate of front and rear middle column 1 by 1, and fix in the hole of the columns with M12 by 25 bolts. Assembling lateral bracing. The lateral bracing of roof truss set on the scissors-like. Use 4 M12 by 25 bolts to fix on the roof truss. Assembling purlins. The purlins installed on the purlin support. Use M12 by 25 bolts to fix on the roof truss. The space of purlins is less than 5 mm. Assembling exterior wall panels. Assemble the exterior wall panel from corner column in turn. The exterior wall panels from the top of columns. Pay attention on the joint of exterior wall panel. At the bottom of exterior wall panel should be installed the flashing. Pay more attention on the flashing. The long side towards inside, the short side towards outside. Exterior gable panels are cut ready at first, according to the slope of roof pitch, and then fixed. Top door panel fixed between the door frame and top door panel support, using the glass glue closely all around. Make sure the good conditions of wall horizontally and vertically. Through the line drop measures, allowable joint gap deviation is less than 2 mm. Assembling windows. Based on the layout, the windows should be installed on a reserved position. Assembling the upper and lower window trimming. The window trimming should be flat. Installing the window frames in post slot. Adjusting the window frame so that it is horizontal rolls. Then fixing and connecting the window frame and the window trimming with rivets. And then fixing the inner glass. Finally, applying the glue in window sill trimming, the joint of wall panel and window frame, the joint of column and the window frame, and drilling the drainage hole on the outer window frame. Assembling roof panel. Bracing wire along the length direction of modular house over the roof. Based on the bracing wire, installing the roof panel from one side of roof panel in turn, making sure the joint of roof panels is correct and flat. Visual eave is straight. Roof tile connect with roof purlin by self-tapping screw. Self-tapping screw fixed on the peak of roof tile. The self-tapping screw which connect the roof and each purlin is not less than 3. Assembling roof ridge. The roof tile fluting intersect with the roof panels shall be made for the samples. After marking shear a chip with scissors, a chip of size should match with the corrugated roof. Between roof ridge and roof panel with 4x10 rivets to connect. Pay attention to ensure the middle of roof ridge coincide with the joint of roof tile. Assembling gable trimming. Lapping the gable trimming should be along the flowing water direction. Among gable trimming, roof panel and wall panel use rivets to connect. The space of rivets is 400 mm. The joint of gable trimming and rivets should be glued with glass cement. Gluing. Using glass glue to close roof components joint. Drag rivets. The self-tapping screws. Assembling rain shelter system. Installing the rain shelter on the rain shelter frames at first, ensuring align the edge of the rain shelter. Rain shelter and rain shelter frames use M5x20 rivets to connect, and hanging rain shelter board components with 2 M10x30 bolts on the column. Then fixing the horizontal rain shelter support with 2 M12x30 screws. One side supports rain shelter, the other side supports columns. Lapping the rain shelters should be paid attention on the flowing water direction. Assembling doors. According to the position of hinge on the door, install the door frame hinge. Make sure the door hinge and door frame hinge inconsistent. Upper and lower hinge on the same axis. According to the position of lock on the door leaf, install the lock catch. Ensure the lock tongue for doors and lock catch of the door frames identical. Lock tongue access free. Assembly interior partition wall. First of all, using line drop method to mark the installing position line of interior partition wall. Secondly, installing the upper and lower wall slot, using self-tapping screws to fix the upper wall slot, the lower wall slot fixed by steel nails. Thirdly, installing the interior partition wall from one side to another side. Finally, the upper wall slot of last panel is divided into 2 with scissors. At first, fixing one side of wall slot. Next is the wall panel installation, and install the other side of wall slot. Then using a rule to measure the interior partition wall verticality, smoothness, and allowable verticality deviation is less than 5 mm. Lastly, using the rivets to fix the qualified interior partition wall promptly.